because we're not a graffiti crew, you know. We're more just a bunch of artists, you know. But we come from under the graffiti umbrella, but we don't necessarily do the traditional brand of graffiti, you know. And the reason, a lot of even like some of the cats in Sage, like, oh, we're not a graffiti crew. It's like, well, yeah, we're not, but everything we do, graffiti is the grandfather of what we do. So I'm always going to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? Like, graffiti is where this came from, you know, because we're evolving the art form. You know, we took, you know, a medium that's always perceived as negative and produced so much positive shit. You know, so graffiti to me it was never just one thing. It was never just one thing. People always think, you know, graffiti is just this, that, and other. Like, no, it's so much. It's so broad. You know, you're talking about a culture that's over 40 years old. It's way more than just a signature. But that's where it started, you know? It started from that tag, and that grew into that burner, that grew into that production. You know, that grew into crews and aerosol art, you know? So you always have to acknowledge it. Whether you're doing it illegally on the streets for yourself or you're doing it for a community, it's all the same deal, you know? As far as taking walls go, I never officially retired. It's just the fact that my whole thing is like everything has its time and place. And during the time where I was doing it pretty much on a regular, it needed to be done. Because at the time, we were establishing a crew, establishing our ideology, establishing what we were trying to do. And Sage was all about rebuilding. And we took the most risk to rebuild areas that needed some light. Like the places we painted needed those murals, you know, because you have sanctioned organizations that will be hesitant to go into those areas because of the danger or, you know, the preconceived notions of these neighborhoods. But we didn't care about any of that. Like I've always said, the hood has the best walls. You know, they have the best walls. So you mean to tell me the only thing I have to worry about is somebody over here who may be a little bit suspect or maybe a little bit edgy? Shit, we don't supposed to be here neither. So we already got a common ground. And the only thing that's required now is just breaking the ice. So if they come over to me like, yo, what are you doing? I'm going to tell them what I'm doing. Oh, word? And then you start a dialogue. I start understanding why this person's doing what they're doing, and instead when I'm doing what I'm doing. And then you get a whole community that's coming together because they're seeing what you're doing is not selfish, you know? I'm not just here painting something just for me. Like, I'm thinking about the community at large, you know? Because I'm from these type of communities that I'm painting in. And I have a value interest in the inner city. And it's just keeping it real, yo. Just being yourself and keeping it honest, you know?